Hi everyone, Adam with etrailer.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Optronics LED trailer light system. So these trailer lights, you will have to get two different types. One's going to be for your passenger side and the other one's going to be for your driver's side. So with these lights on our passenger side, we are going to have our tail lights, our turn signal, our brake lights, our left turn signal. And on our driver's side, we are going to have an additional light that's going to shine down onto our license plate. The bracket does not come with the kit, so be sure to pick up one of those as well. These are going to be LED, so they are going to last a little bit longer than your traditional bulbs and your normal tail lights. They're going to last a long time, and with the winter changes, when it gets colder, you're not going to have bulbs breaking, so you don't have to maintenance these near as much as your traditional taillights. So we are going to have a plastic housing here, and it's going to be pretty much watertight all the way around, but we will have a little bit of opening on the back side, but that's where it connects to our trailer, so I don't think we'll have any issues of water seeping into our light. So on our trailer here, we ended up just overhauling all of our wiring. So we just ran all new wire and set it all up. It was pretty simple, so let's just go ahead and do it together. So the first thing we want to do is run our wire all the way back to our tail lights. We do have 25 foot, so on a small trailer like this, we're going to have plenty of excess. But if you have a trailer that's going to be a little bit longer, you can pick up some extra wiring here at etrailer.com. And whenever you're running it, I do suggest the more concealed, the better. So I'm actually going to utilize our tongue here, run it through there, and then find a nice and clean, secure place to run all this wire. So most trailers are going to have loops and or holes in your frame, and that's where we're going to run this wire, just to make sure it doesn't get hung up on our suspension or sucked up into the wheels. So now that I got all my wires ran, I'm going to see which ones go where. So our left tail light is going to go to the left side, and our right tail light is going to stay on the right side here. But with our ground and our tail light switch, we're actually going to run these to both sides. You can do it in many different ways. You can cut it and then splice it in there, or you can just splice into the wire if you have extra wire sitting around. The reason why I'm bringing the ground to both sides is because this is a tilt trailer, and it has one little point that is going to give it its ground, and that's not necessarily always the best. You might get flickering taillights, but for this build, we're actually just going to run it to the both sides just to prevent any problems from happening in the future. So now we can go ahead and cut our wires to the desired length. So now that we have our light all faceted to our trailer, we can go ahead and start hooking these wires up. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to cut the ground wire that comes with our lights short and actually connect both the ground from our 4-pole and these together via one ring terminal, and then that's going to be faceted around our bolt here. To determine how much slack we need on this, I'm going to go to this bolt here. So I think I'm going to cut right about here and put that ring terminal on. Cut them, strip them. And we can grab our ring terminals here. And if you don't have any, we do have some here at etrailer.com as well. Be sure to twist these guys together real nice. Make sure nice and bound together. Then we can take our ring terminal, put it on there, and crimp it down. Always give it a good tug, make sure you got a good connection, and if so, we can go ahead and put this on there. So these bolts are going to be 11 millimeters, so you can grab yourself a socket. You might have to get a deep well socket and tighten those down. So on trailers that are being used for more heavy duty jobs, a lot of the times you go through quite a bit of taillights. So the ones that we have here, they're actually going to have a little quick connect, but they don't come with the extension. So I do recommend going on eTrailer and grabbing one of these. And basically what we're going to do, actually, you only have to buy one. So one's going to come in here, and I'm actually going to cut it halfway. But just be mindful that the colors will change, so always match it up by function. So our brown wire here is going to turn into white, and our green wire here is going to turn into red. But on the other side, it will be different. So if I were to plug in the other side of this, now we have brown to red and green to white. So just be mindful of that, and we do sell these at etrailer.com. Plug this in. So now we can go ahead, and this is going to be our right blinker, and this is going to be our taillights. So our red being taillights, we can grab our taillight wire from our 4-pole. Luckily, they have them labeled on some of them. So we're going to go ahead and cut the wires appropriately and heat shrink these together. And these do make a pretty clean connection, but there's a little bit of gap there. So just to protect it from any water or anything, I do suggest just throwing a couple layers of electrical tape around it just to prevent any short circuits from happening. So we can go ahead and strip these. And always twist them together. Get a clean connection. We're going to do the same for these wires. So now we can grab our heat shrink connectors. And if you don't have any, we do sell these at eTrailer as well. And remember, brown is going to red, so red's going to be our taillight. And the Hopkins wiring always has the functions labeled, so that's always nice. So you go ahead and connect them. Connect these. And then crimp them down. I usually do multiple areas just to make sure that the connection is good. Start in the middle. Do the right side and the left side. Once you're done, give it a good tug. Make sure it's got a clean connection. And I'm going to go ahead and do these as well. We'll heat shrink them up at the same time. Got white wire, which is going to be our right taillight, and we got a right turn as well. So I do plan on cleaning this up a little bit, but before we do that, I am going to test everything, and before we do that, we have to run our wires and finish up the other side. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to splice into our taillight wire and then run it over, and I'm going to do the same exact thing with our ground here. We do have a lot of excess wiring with our Hopkins 4-pole, so I'm just going to utilize that. And I'm actually going to use the same colored wires and labeled wires as this side. So it's going to end up pretty nice and clean. And you can grab these splice connectors here at etrailer.com as well. It does make a pretty easy job of it. Once we get it into place, we can go ahead and just push this metal pin down. And that's going to connect both of them together. So now, once we get that done, fold this over, clip it into place. And I actually am going to end up taking some electrical tape and put it around here, just because there is a little bit of gap. I want to make sure it stays away from the elements. So now we're going to go ahead and repeat the same exact thing with our ground. So it's going to be the same exact thing on this side, but we're just going to have a license plate bracket, and all you got to do is just make sure you match up your wires function to function. So now we're going to go ahead and make sure everything is working properly before we clean up our wiring. You can either just plug it into your vehicle, or you have a test box like we have here, you can use that as well. So we're going to do our tail lights here. Then we're going to test our brake lights. And then our right turn. And then our left. And if everything's in order, we can go ahead and clean up this wiring, and we're pretty much done. Well, everyone, that just about does it for our look at the Optronics LED trailer light system.